Want to Be an Assessor?
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the So You Wanna Be an Assessor podcast. We are back again. We keep taking breaks. It's like we leave for assessments and stuff. I don't know.
Scheduling.
I know, it's kind of crazy. I am Maida Shepherd, one of the hosts of this podcast, and we are glad you're here.
And I am Caitlin Reeder, your other co-host. And as I stated, we are back. We have been battling the scheduling beast, and we've been off on assessments, weirdly enough, not together.
Exactly. It was kind of crazy. You went off with my husband. I went off with my husband. It was been nuts. But we do get to do an assessment together soon.
Next week?
Yeah. No, week after. Or
week
something.
After.
Yeah. It's on the calendar. We're going to do something.
We'll be somewhere together at some point.
Some point.
You know, every day we're going to do one of these and we'll be in the same room. So I'm excited for that.
Yes, that's going to be so much fun. We got to start that way. That was really cool. And so we'll get to do it on occasion. But right now we're still in the virtual locations. Anyway, so what we talked about doing training last time, and for analyst training, and so we kind of ended up at they were learning a method. They were going to learn a method, and so they had to have the SOP, and they had to do their MDLs and DOCs and all that fun stuff. So should we talk more about doing the method validation? That's a thing that labs have to do.
That's a great idea, because it is a thing that has to be done. And while it's not super prescriptive, there are ways to do it well and ways to do it not well.
True. But isn't that, life? There's So yeah, that's a great thing. Okay, so method validation, that's what we're going to talk about.
Let's do it.
Let's jump in. So what is method validation? There is an entire section in the T&I standard. It's like section 5.2 or 3. I don't know the section 5s nearly as well as I know the section 4s.
The only one I know is 5.4.
Yeah.
Because I use that one a lot.
Yeah. So I hear you. But anyway, so method validation, you have to, you can do something as simple, and it is not by any means simple, as go and get a method, an EPA method, a standard methods, an ASTM method, somebody's method, something that somebody has written and implemented in your laboratory.
Sometimes your own.
Sometimes your own. And let's kind of ignore the your own for a minute and talk about, you're just going to implement a method that somebody else has. First, you kind of need the equipment, just because it's really hard to run a GCMS-MS test without a GCMS-MS. For instance, even the wet chemistry tests, it is not appropriate to run the pH tests with pH strips. Are really not the best way to run that test. You need the right equipment, from something really pretty simple to things that are very sophisticated, shall we say. And of course, once you get the equipment, you need to make sure that and the standards. You need to have a standard or more, at least two. Yeah, because you need a second source. So you need standard. In the case of pH, you need 5 to calibrate the thing, but you need 5 levels to be able to calibrate. So I guess I'm going into calibration, right? You have to calibrate the instrument. Well, first you probably should make sure that your instrument can actually identify whatever it is you are trying to identify. And
it turns on, everything is looking good. You run up all the setup programs. The programs work within your LIMS system, or if you need to download a new software to even be able to interpret the data for some of the larger ICP, ICP-MS, those big boys.
Yeah, those sophisticated, really, really sophisticated things. So yeah, most of the big instruments come with their own software or come with software, but anyway.
It doesn't always play well with every computer though, so that can also be a challenge for your IT people.
Or your IT people will make it a challenge for you. It's kind of how gonna make that work. But yeah. So you had to have the equipment. You had to obviously, and it's occurred to me we've been talking about you want to be an assessor, but this is a lab side thing.
You're right. Us assessors are very rarely looking at the method validation unless something is drastically wrong. And then we really, really care.
Yeah. So we'll keep it a little bit more to the how assessors deal with this, because I personally have not ever set up a method. But I do know that as an assessor, I expect you to have the equipment. If you need a burette to titrate something, you have to have a burette. It can't be a broken burette.
It has to be in an increment that you also recognize, preferably Class A. Some methods are very strict about what sort of equipment you need. For example, the one that always is surprising to me is flask point. It's the only method that is in Fahrenheit. So you need a special thermometer that is in Fahrenheit, not in Celsius. You can do its sister method that is in Celsius, but baseline.
Yeah. Well, and even some of the other simple tests, you would think that the equipment would not be a problem. But for instance, color requires specific matching tubes. They don't have to be Class A, but they need to be matching. You can't have one that's this wide and one that's this wide, and or there's you need, I think, 10 minimum.
Yeah, and they have to be fairly consistent and fairly clean.
Yes.
They can't do it in like a colored glass. It needs to be weirdly clear so you can see the color.
Crazy how some of these things are required. And what was the other one I was thinking of? The odor, for instance, needs to be opaque glasses, or Erlenmeyer flask is what's actually recommended required. I personally like the purple ones, but they're hard to find and get, and but anyway, so you have to have the right equipment. As simple as equipment is, you need to have a standard, because if you can't prove that you have chloride in your sample and that it's chloride, then how do you know that your test is working correctly? It was weird to me. I went into a lab that was doing a test, and I was like, well, what's your standard? And they said, my what? I just am running this. And I'm going, this does not compute. I don't understand how you know what you're finding.
Seems sus.
That particular lab was a 17025 lab, if I remember correctly. And so they weren't using, it wasn't environmental. But still, I to this day am confused about how do you know you're finding what you think you're finding?
Right.
Without a standard of some sort to prove that, yep, that's what that is. And that's how this instrument reacts to it.
Yeah.
So you have to calibrate most of them. Most of the instruments, or create a calibration curve. In the case of color, you have to, odor doesn't have a calibration.
It would be weird to calibrate your nose.
It would be. But most of the others have calibration requirements. Usually the low point of a calibration is going to be your MDL. Life is just easiest if you make that your low point, the low point of your curve, and what you declare your method detection limit to be, because you have to run a method detection limit verification every quarter. So you also run a reporting limit. So some people run something less than they have their low point as their reporting limit, not limit of quantitation, all the terms that match or whatever. So anyway, you can work that out, figure out what that is. But you read the method that when you're using one made by somebody else, make sure you've got the equipment, follow the method. When it says to use an opaque Erlenmeyer flask, then use an opaque Erlenmeyer flask. Or if it says to weigh your information with 2 milligrams and 1 milligram, I'm looking at you, oil and grease, and then you have to have a 2 milligram weight and a 1 milligram weight in order to confirm that your balance knows what 2 milligrams and 1 milligram are. So all of those parts and pieces come into setting up a method. Once you are sure that you know what your instrument does to respond, to give you your peak, your response, whether it's a peak or a number or whatever, however that's going to look, because different instruments, different things, or the color change in titration may be what you're doing. But however that happens for your method, you have to make sure that you know what that is. You have to write an SOP to say how you're going to do it. You are allowed to use the reference method as your SOP. The problem with that is the reference method says things like you could do this or this. And an SOP doesn't have a this or this. It says this is how we do it. This laboratory does it this way, and so therefore you have to have an SOP that says what you're going to do, or exactly which options within the method you choose. Mm-hmm. So write your SOP, and there will probably be iterations of that until it all matches. You train the lab, do a DOC. We talked about DOCs in the training before. Got to make sure that you have a lab-wide DOC as well as individual. They can coexist. They can be the same thing. But you have to have DOCs. You need to run MDLs. So that is using the CFR 146, or is it 36? I get those two confused. I'll have to do more research on that before I talk about it. But anyway, to follow the Code of Federal Registry on how to do an MDL, and that requires at least 7 points for the original. Little couple of caveats is that it has to be across 3 days minimum. You can run it across 7 days if you want. Usually people just want to get it done, so they run 3, 3, and 1, or whatever. But you have to run it across at least 3 days and then calculate it. You also have to have at least 7 blanks, and then do comparisons in math and all that sort of stuff. We could talk about MDLs ad nauseum, but I'd rather not.
No, thank you. And I'm pretty sure we touched on a very light version of it in another podcast. So go see that one. If I remember, I'll link it down below.
Yeah, something like that. So the MDLs, DOCs, all of that fun stuff you have to get done. Write the SOP, train people, and then I think you're about, PTs. Proficiency tests. If you're not in California and you are doing T&I or looking at a laboratory under T&I, if you're the assessor, you're looking for 2 PTs. Must start with 2 passing PTs. You'd think I wouldn't have to say passing, but yeah.
You would hope that they would pass. I mean, I know it gives me great anxiety when they don't. But that may just be me on a personal level.
No, PTs are supposed to be relatively easy to pass. If you're doing the method anywhere close to right, then you should be able to pass the PTs. Mm-hmm. And some PTs, we haven't talked at all about micro this session, but
I was going to try and bring it in, but then I was like, no. It's just a whole different beast.
literally organisms. Yeah, it is crazy. But DOC, method validation and getting there for micro is not necessarily a straightforward task.
I would say for micro, it is mostly controlling the environment so that the microbes can do their thing. And that is a different way to think of things in your brain. But I think the thing for assessors that we usually look for, just to like give you a heads up of things that we look for that are for method validation of that method, is making sure you have sterile, hit the microphone, sterile things, as well as thermometers that can read the tiny temperature differences. And then the last thing is your incubator. We are going to want to see that you have done a study on the different locations in the incubator so that everything is temperature
uniform, stability.
Uniform. There we go. That's what I was looking for.
The words, yes. So agreed. All of that fun is what we're trying to look for. So we've covered at least the high points of method validation and what. So we look for those high points as assessors when we come in. If somebody is trying to add a method scope expansion, for instance, or a brand new assessment, then we are looking for those parts and pieces. Make sure that there were 2 PTs. Make sure that there is MDLs and DOCs and
an SOP that matches what you do.
See, so there it is in a nutshell. We wrapped this up, Caitlin.
We did it. Who knew that it could just come down to just those 4 pieces? I'm sure there's more, but 4 pieces in a nutshell.
Yep. Well, we talked a lot about equipment too. So I guess you have to have equipment. So 5.
Okay. And sourcing that equipment can be a special challenge depending on what it is that you're looking for and how much bench space you have. So
true.
Have fun.
Yeah. But we're at 20 minutes.
Go us. Who knew we could talk about method validation for that long, if not go longer, if I'm being honest.
Anyway, if you have questions or topics you want us to cover, then please let us know in the comments. And we do look at them, read them, Anyway, so looking forward to hearing from you.
As always, please like and subscribe to this channel if you wish to get notified whenever we do post, and don't go on hiatus. Hit the bell icon in the corner and it will announce to you when we upload something new. You'll get notifications sent straight to your phone. As always, we love questions. We are going to be in Florida at the FSEA convention? Conference. That other C word. We are going to be there in person. So if you would like to come hang out with us, we will have a table under Shepherd Technical Services. It'll be in blue. We have some cool giveaways. Come by, say hi. We like to hear from people who actually know that this exists. And if you don't know yet, we will also have a QR code there, so you can find us wherever we exist.
Yeah, how exciting.
Anyway, I think that's all.
Yeah.
So, bye.
Bye. Thanks.